I do want to talk about the justices because back in 2022, in a concurring opinion on the Dobbs case, which overturned Roe, Justice Clarence Thomas said that the court should reconsider Obergefell, which legalized same sex marriages nationwide, since both rulings are based on the same legal argument. So, does that indicate anything to you about whether or not the court will even hear this case?
Well, it takes four justices to vote to hear a case, and that was by Justice Thomas. The comment you just read, and I'm certain he would vote, so he'd be one of the four. So the real question is: are there three other justices who would take the case, and then is there a majority? Are there five justices who would be willing to directly take on the Obergefell decision? I don't think there are five justices, but who knows?
Do you think then there are four justices to hear this case even?
It's possible. I will say this. The procedural posture of this case is odd. It's not somebody who's seeking a marriage license or directly affected. It's a civil litigant who was hit with a big damages award and wants to raise an obscure point of law about a First Amendment defense. I'm not sure this is the case that the U.S. Supreme Court wants to use as the vehicle for overturning a 10-year-old precedent.
And do you think if it's not this case, that there is a separate vehicle, a different vehicle for the Supreme Court to overturn gay marriage in the United States?
There could be other cases with a more frontal, direct challenge to the due process basis or analysis that the Supreme Court used to enact or validate same-sex marriages. In this case, the record is real poor, and you don't have a very good optics in terms of this defendant who was held liable by a jury for six figures in damages. I just don't think the Supreme Court's going to take this case, but there could be cases where somebody has a more direct interest in marriage or refusing marriage, and I could see the Supreme Court revisiting this precedent.
And how much, in your opinion, does optics matter when the Supreme Court is taking up a case? Because based on polling in recent years, it doesn't seem like there's much national appetite for the Supreme Court to overturn gay marriage.
Yeah, I don't think optics matter. And it used to be before Dobbs, the institution mattered, meaning even if justices felt like Roe v. Wade was wrongly decided, because of the institutional and longstanding history of Roe v. Wade, they weren't willing, they didn't have the collective willingness to challenge that direct precedent. But that institutionalism is not something you see a whole lot of in today's Supreme Court. And so you could see five justices who are willing to overturn a decision that's only 10 years old. And they might be thinking that now's the time to do it, depending on who's president next. Maybe the conservative leanings of this court are not going to be around forever.